I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Market News, here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending March the 14th. We had feeder cattle, those going right into the feedlot and mostly weighing over 750 pounds, and especially when you get into the upper eights, those cattle sold unevenly steady. We had slight losses down in the southern plains. Most of the commercial feedlots were really not pushing on those markets, but up in the northern plains, slightly higher markets still on those cattle, with a lot of help from the local farmer feeders up there that can feed those cattle a little bit cheaper. But these feedlots are needing more time to cheapen the cattle up. The prices have finally gotten to the point where they can maybe make some money on the cattle, because most of them's cost of gains are under $1, and the cattle are bringing up, $1.40, $1.50, but they're costing so much as feeder cattle. They just need more time on those cattle, so they'd really like to buy some lighter weight cattle. But the problem there is you're getting so much competition from your stocker operators buying those turnout cattle that they can't afford those. And your stocker cattle and calves sold $2 to $6 higher this week, with a full advance down in the southeast, and orders have just poured into the southeastern order buyer market for cattle to turn out and send out west or to the southern plains to straighten those cattle out to get ready to turn out on grass. But we're hitting a prime time right now for stocker buying. We've gotten to the point where winter's finally loosened its grip, and we're starting to get some spring-like weather. So we've got a real small window between when the wintry weather straightens out and when everybody gets to doing their spring planting, which is going to start. And not all your cattle people are going to put row crops in, but it's still going to take it off a little bit of the edge from that stocker buying. But right now, up until they start running those planters, and then in a lot of places they'll start hay production pretty soon after that too. So you've got a small window there where everybody is looking for light cattle to turn out. And at the winter livestock auction, Dodge City, Kansas, on Wednesday, there had 101 head of stocker heifers. Now these heifers were bought and backgrounded cattle, but fully backgrounded by people that know what they're doing, and just weighing 408. Now these heifers won't qualify for any particular premium program or anything like that. Mostly blacks and black baldies, but a few colored cattle on them. But the main thing is these light backgrounded heifers, this particular package I'm talking about, shouldn't have any health problems with them. Should be able to just turn those cattle out and watch them grow. But 101 head of them in one string, weigh 408, bring $2.50 a pound. And that's what we mean when guys are looking for cattle that are already backgrounded. They know what it's going to cost to give them all their shots, to wait for the ones that are going to get sick to get sick, for those that are going to die, and getting those cattle straightened out to where they can turn them out and not have any problem with them. Because once you turn them out in those big pastures, it's a hard time to try to pull sick ones and get them doctored. You want to sift through those before you get started. But stocker operators are starting to look right now, and a lot of them are going to run out of money, or they're going to run out of nerve before they get enough cattle bought to fill their pastures. The stocker cattle this year are costing around 25% more than they did just a year ago, and they were plenty high a year ago. But you're seeing a lot of them maybe not turn out as many cattle as they normally turn out, because people love to graze cattle. That's what cattle were meant to do. And it may be an opportunity for some younger cattle growers, or some guys that haven't broken in to that major grazing areas, to be able to lease some pasture in some of these major grazing areas. The foothills of the Rockies, or the Flint Hills of Kansas, the Osage of Oklahoma, some of those major grazing areas that is tough to break into and lease some of those pastures. There could be some available this year, so if you've been wanting to turn some cattle out in those areas, you might call around or look for some ads, because some of the guys that's been doing it for a long time won't turn as many cattle out as usual. But everything still remains bullish. We haven't had anything really knock us off this bull market yet. Still, every beef product, all the way down to a cow and bull, is at an all-time record high. And now your pork cutouts have gotten to an all-time record high, with these hogs really jumping too. as these pork producers are facing this PED virus that's just wiping out these little pigs, and has pulled back on some of your supply right now, but the supply down the road is what we're really looking at, that's going to be a shortage of slaughter hogs. Fat cattle this week sold steady to $2 higher, 148 in the southern plains, 150 to 152 up north, and your dress market was mostly all at 240 so far, and that's steady to $3 higher. Regional weighted averages in the north central states, the 6-weight steer cost you $197.88 compared to $195.14 last week and $150.87 a year ago. Then the south central region, a 5-weight steer cost you $209.84 compared to $207.24 just last week and $164.36 a year ago. Down in the southeast on order, them lightweight calves, a 4-weight calf, steer calf, cost you $214.16 this week compared to $210.12 last week and $164.62 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder and stocker cattle market summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.